The Good Shepherd that we read in the parable of Jesus, when he talks about God being the Good Shepherd. Do you know, it's fascinating, isn't it? How nature can be a great teacher if we would just open our eyes and our senses. Let me explain. The other day I was down having a walk with the 3 dogs, and I was watching the sun go down, and I could hear a sheep bleating for its young. And there was about 250 sheep with their young, with little lambs, spring lambs. And I thought, wow, how can she find it? And how can the little lamb find its mummy? But the call was so distressing. I just momentarily stopped to look to see where that little lamb could be, and way in the distance was this little darling come running to its mummy. And then I began to reflect, is that what Jesus meant when he talked about the parable of the lost sheep? And then I just went into my heart, and I just felt a real sense of comfort from those wonderful examples seen with the mother sheep calling her young, and her little one was in distress and calling its mummy. And then I got in my heart, my sheep who know my voice follow me. My sheep who know my voice follow me. And today we're living really in wonderful times, and I know many people try to sort of come as the prophets of gloom and doom when they say, oh, isn't it an awful society, isn't the world dreadful, and where is God? And you know, it's so negative. But you know, I believe that we're living in a beautiful world. And I guess I'm very fortunate living in this beautiful little village, which is very much like Miss Marple's village. It's where time stands still, and just 5 minutes walk from here we're on the estuary of the Morecambe Bay estuary, and it's so beautiful, and you can see the Cumbrian hills. There's a peace, there's no crime, and there's a sense of real beauty. And what I'm saying to you is, despite the distractions of aircraft and carrying on, but we are so blessed because we can come to God through nature. And the parable of the lost sheep says it all. And the parable is saying to me, yes, there were times in my journey when I knew best, when I followed my ego, when I thought I was the prodigal son, where I squandered God's gifts through selfishness. And now, when I was guided to surrender my heart in 2007, to honour what my heart was guiding me to do, to live a simple life, I feel that the role of Good Shepherd is a very important example, that no matter where we go, how far we stray from truth, the Good Shepherd, being God, will always send us helpers. And our soul hears the cry of God, return to me. And today, in this beautiful world, many have chosen not to honour their heart. Many have chosen not to listen to the Good Shepherd. Many have chosen to carry on, giving off bad energy, being stuck in crisis and conflict. And all it takes is to stop, to be still, and to surrender the heart to the Good Shepherd of God. And when I see in my mind's eye that little sheep running in the distance, gaining momentum as it runs, and then it comes to its mammy, and then it starts feeding. And that's what happens for us. When we surrender the heart and come back to the Good Shepherd, we are allowed to feast of the bread of life. We're allowed to have the elixir of life. We are blessed with spiritual abundance, because the Father, Mother God, who knows our needs, always protects us. And yet, what is so disheartening is that we were all given the gift of free will. We were given a gift to exercise full control of how and where we live our life. And many today have chosen not to honour their heart. And we know that as we approach the wonderful 2012, the surge of new energies, many are going to miss out because of stubbornness. And as I walked along the estuary, I kept looking back at that little lamb and its mother, and oh, there was such contentment. But then I was also made aware of Lazarus. And I was made aware of another story where this gentleman was taken to the fires of hell, and he pleaded with God, and momentarily I've forgotten his name and I'm sorry, but he was taken to hell, and he pleaded with God, will you send my family the prophets and warn them of this dreadful place of darkness and fear? And he said, but I have. I've sent them the prophets, I've sent them teachers, I've sent them good neighbours to try and invite them to let go of their fear, to let go of their mindset, to let go of their crisis and return to the Good Shepherd. But they chose not to. And what's so humbling is that God loves us so much that he allows us to use our free will. And part of that free will, you would think, would be to return to a loving God. But they chose not to. So what is the story of the Good Shepherd really saying to you and me? I believe it's saying something very simple. That when we cry out from the depth of our soul when we're in crisis, when we have lost our way, where there seems to be no hope, no future, we may be in a bad marriage where our partner annihilates our dignity and divinity. We may be in a workplace environment where we're being bullied. We may have a child that's been sexually abused or on heroin. Or we ourselves may be affected, as I am, by mental illness, and we cope with it each day, and we cope with the struggles. It's then that we can actually turn to the Good Shepherd and say, please come and support me. And like the little lamb, it comes tearing to its mummy. And that's how we are when we return to God. We are given the strength. We are given the support. And if we ask God for help, it is given, because I truly believe no prayer goes unanswered. Once we open our heart and make that reconnection, something awesome happens. But in our human nature we become impatient, don't we? We expect God to become an instant meal, an instant dinner like you find in Asda or Sainsbury's or Marks and Spencer's, where you can just go to it, pick it, put it in the microwave and eat it. Prayer isn't like that. Prayer is answered when we're in a place, in a good place, where we will appreciate the benefits of that answered prayer, where we will appreciate God's gift to us to get us through. But I guess that's part of being human, isn't it? We become very selfish, and many times we take our eye off the ball. We can become complacent, as I have. And sometimes we have these knocks to remind us to return to God. So today I invite you to just reflect on the Good Shepherd, that nothing is beyond help. No matter where you are, how you're feeling, if you ask, you will be given. If you seek, you will find. And if you knock on the heart of God's loving heart, trust me, he will raise you up. Honour your heart, because therein is all truth, all hope. And as I was reminded many years ago as a young nursing monk, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. May the God of all peace, may the Good Shepherd nourish your soul this day. Take care. God bless.